Hi, my beautiful, beautiful friends, and welcome to the first video of 2026. Welcome. We are in 2026. Wow, how 2025 just flew by, and like the second half, I feel like from August onwards it just disappeared, and I don't know what happened to it, where it went, but we are in 2026, which means just with one flip of a clock, it is now back to the timing where everything is much slower, and we have to kind of like move into things. And January is that kind of month of when, like, it's almost like my previous episode, the waiting period, which a lot of you guys resonated with, which was amazing. And this idea of just waiting for our manifestations to come and waiting for things to click into place, because it's that new year energy, and it's easy to lose like the productivity around it when we're waiting. But this is such an important period of time. But while we wait, while we're in that, I want to introduce to you this topic, which I have recently learned about recently learned about last year, and it is so fascinating. It is called your personal year, and I've done a lot of research around it for the episode and for myself, and it's very interesting how relative it actually is and how much you can relate to it. So maybe this is something new to you and you haven't heard about it ever before, and this is your first time hearing about it. Maybe you've heard about it before, you've lent on it before, but this is a very great almost tool to use to navigate your year ahead and also understand your 2025 or your future years or your previous years. So welcome to the episode. So basically this episode, what we're talking about is numerology, and how each year we have a personal year ranging from 1 to 9. So we have a 9-year cycle, and we work through each year on this 9-year cycle. So each year represents a different cycle. So for all of us, we don't work on the same cycle, essentially. So some people might be in their first cycle, which is first year of their cycle, which is like beginnings, or some people might be at their 9th year, which is like ending. So it's all dependent on where you fall. And so it just means that your beginning came at a different time. So that is what your personal year is. And it basically describes the different development that goes through your life through these 9-year cycles. So you can actually use these cycles to understand yourself better and understand your year better. Because each personal year represents different characteristics, and you can start to tell what to lean into this year and when to start things and when to kind of just lean on that energy. And so for this, your personal year, it does start on the 1st of January, not your birthday, but the 1st of January. So you have now entered your personal year, and it's time to lean into that energy. And through my research on this, I have found details on each of the years and what they mean. And even for me, looking back, I can see the relation to the last time I experienced these years and how they actually really do relate. So for me personally, for example, so 2026, I'm going into my 8th year. Now, 8th is a really big year of like manifestations. And I look back, and the last time I went through my 8th year was 2017. And that was my very first overseas trip. It's when I moved to the Netherlands. It's the first time I went solo international. And looking at this year and what's to come, this year it's the very first year that I will be hosting a group trip and running it through my business. So I can see how they correlate. I can see how one year relates to the other. So I am moving into my manifestation year, and I'm so excited for that. Or even last year, 2025, that was my 7th year. And the last time I was in my 7th year was 2016, which is when I moved to Adelaide, which is very funny because last year is when I moved back to Adelaide from living in London for 2 years. And it's also when I started to be social. And the 7th year is a year about journeying on the inside and following your purpose. Or even like 2024 for me, which is 6th year. And the last time I experienced that was 2015, which was my gap year. And again, that year is about like in between years and after endings, making new beginnings. Like it's very cool when you start to look back. And even the final one I looked back on was 2023, which was my 5th year. And the last time I experienced that was 2014, the year I graduated high school. And that was and 2023 for me, I was still living in London, but I was closing up a version of myself in London, and leaving a job I'd been in the whole time and studying new. So, and that year, the year 5, represents a year of exploration. And it's also a year I did a lot of travel in 2023. So you'll be able to start to relate and see how things relate. And also from this episode, what you're going to be able to do is reflect back on your 2025 year and how it works, how a lot of the characteristics of your 2025 year made that year what it was. So it can be an explanation of sorts. You can also prepare for your 2026 year ahead and see what's to come and see what energy to work with. You can also check out your friends, your partners, anyone else's year to see what kind of year they're entering into, which is fun in itself, honestly. I've done that with a few friends and been like, oh, wow, that is definitely the year they're going into. So in this episode, we're going to be covering 2026 and the significance of 2026, how you can calculate to work out what your personal year is. Then we're going to look at each of the years from 1 to 9 and also the significance of the year and the do's and don'ts. And that is basically what we're focusing on today, and I'm excited to share it with you. But if you have a minute, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube and follow if you're on Spotify. There's exciting announcement coming in the next episode. But I was meant to have a 2-week break and I've only had one, and so but I want to get this episode out to you. So the next week will be a break, but the week following will be the exciting announcements, which if you're on Instagram, you've already seen, but that's okay. All right, let's start by talking about 2026 year. So the year 2026, when you calculate it, so the way you calculate it is you go 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, which equals 10. And then what you do, if you have two numbers, you add them together. So 1 plus 0, 1, which means this year is a year of 1, and year of 1 represents new beginnings. So this is going to be a huge year collectively of new beginnings, of things starting afresh. So lean into this energy this year because there's going to be exciting new things starting. And when you listen to your personal year and how it relates, you can kind of relate one to imagine your new beginnings and then relate it to your personal year, because this is going to be the time to take action and this is going to be the time to seek opportunities. This is a huge year. This is a year of new beginnings. Whereas last year was like a rounding up, closing of a chapter. This year is starting again, starting anew, which means this year is main character energy. This is your main character time. Lean into that and embrace that. All right, let's talk about how you can actually calculate to work out your individual personal year. So what you want to do is look at your birthday, your birth month, and add them together. So similar to what we did with 2026, we already know 2026 equals 1. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So let's say your birthday is the 15th of November. You want to add 15, so 1 plus 5, which equals 6. And then you want to add November, 11, so 1 plus 1, which equals 2. So then 6 plus 2 equals 8. And then you want to add it to the 10th year, so to the 2026, which is 10, 1, and that equals 9, which means if you were born on the 15th of November, you are going into your 9th year. So reverse on that if you need to understand it a little bit better, but you just need to add each digit together to get your year. And if you really get stuck, pop it in ChatGPT and ChatGPT will do it for you. Just mention it's for 2026 to get your accurate number. And once you know your year, you can start working out the last times you experienced that year. So look back, track it backwards and see when was the last time. Do it with 2025 as well to see if the themes crossed over. And it is insane when you start seeing similar themes, like I said in the introduction about things that related to the last time I experienced that personal year. So it's a really cool way of looking back and just tracking it. All right, let's begin with our year ones. So just like this year is going into a 1 year, so this is going to be a huge year for you. Not only is 2026 a year of new beginnings and new opportunities, but this is also you are starting afresh. If you are going into your year one, this is a year of beginnings and opportunities. This is a time to start grabbing for those dreams, put those new goals into place, plant those seeds and watch it sprout and watch it get created. This is a time to look into how you are different from other people and how you can use that to your benefit. This isn't so much about new relationships, but instead that relationship with self. That doesn't mean you won't have new relationships, because it is still a new year of beginning. So you will have a lot of new things enter your life, but you need to focus more on that relationship with self, because you're about to enter your 9-year cycle, and your beginning's always such an important part for the rest. So lean into that independence, take those bold steps, and seize the opportunities that come your way. If you have any negative relationships in your life, then this could lead to a breakup this year. If you have positive relationships, then this could lead to growth in those relationships. So maybe like engagements, or maybe like becoming official, or maybe in friendships going like another level with friendships. And so versus the negative ones, which will lead more towards breakup. So the things to do this year: start new projects, that thing you've been wanting to start. This is the time to do it. Focus on your self-development and building yourself and becoming better. And embrace leadership opportunities. And the don'ts: do not depend on other people for direction. They are living their own life. They have their own version of the reality. Lean on your own gut and your intuition on where to go, because just because they might be thinking they're giving good advice and maybe they're coming from a good place, it doesn't mean it's the right advice for you. And don't be afraid to take risks. This is the year for it. This is the year of new beginnings. So you need to lean into those risks and embrace those risks. Now, if you are going into year 2, this is the year of relationships and partnerships. So this is a soft year compared to last year. It's almost like a slowdown. You had your big beginning, and now this is the time to move in emotionally and find that inner balance and set those boundaries. You're going to be drawn to many different people this year. You're going to be drawn to starting those new relationships. This in particular this year, intimate relationships will develop. Your intuition is very highly charged. This is a very potential year of just peace and harmony, and a year of mending. So in this year, do build relationships and partnerships, whether it be romantic relationships, friendships, or business partnerships. This is the time to focus on them and build them. And also focus on your emotional intelligence and building your emotional intelligence, and surrounding yourself with people who you can connect on, who you have the same level of emotional intelligence with. Don't force things. Don't try and make things happen that aren't happening. There's a reason they're not happening. So if there's a situationship, if you even get to the word of situationship, bye-bye, time to leave, too far. Don't be overly competitive or self-centered and only focus on yourself, that you kind of cut out other important people. Now, our year 3s. This is your year of creativity. So think new ideas, dreams. The world is your stage. The world is your oyster. Like, embrace it. This is where you lean into your beauty. You lean into your joy. So your inner and outer beauty. And this is a huge big year for exploring social circles. This is a time to lean into making friends and meeting new people. So if you're based in Adelaide, a little shameless plug here, come along to be social, like come and meet new people. This is the time, because you are so magnet this year. This year you are attracting people, you are carefree, you are falling in love with love. It's just such good energy for embracing that side. So talk to people, and you are just going to meet so many different wonderful people out of this. Tell people how you feel. Don't let your emotions overflow. Don't hold them back. If you feel love for somebody, tell that person you feel love for them. You need to express that, because this is your year of that. So make sure you do express yourself creatively. Even if you're not an overly creative person, find that thing that makes you feel that creative part of yourself. Socialize, network, and just have a lot of fun. Like, this is a year of fun. Don't waste your energy on gossip. Do not do it. This is your year for socializing, not for leaning into that negative energy. It's very easy to accidentally lean into that and take away what joy and what possibilities this year actually has. Don't avoid responsibility. It's time to take that look at that, and don't neglect your personal goals, because those personal goals are going to help you grow in the next few years. Now, if you're going into your year 4, this is a year of hard work. So this is your year to get your life together. Start putting the details together. Build the foundation for your future. Get your life in order. So this could look in particularly about home, family, finances. This is a year of organization, of making everything work and come together. This is a great time to buy a home. It's a great time to build a business. And it's also important to pay attention to your physical body and enjoy the time you have with the people around you, in particular your family or friends that feel like family, and lean into structure and organization for comfort. So the do's, do build solid foundations. This is a great year for it. This is a great year to buy a house, as I said, if you can. It's a great year to just build a community around you. That's important. So, another thing to do is be organized. Like, get everything prepared for the following years, especially because year 5, without going into it too soon, year 5 is a year of like change and like adventure. And you kind of want to have this stability of the year 4 first and this long-term planning before you lean into your year 5, so that when you come back out of your year 5, you have things to lean back on. And don't be lazy or take shortcuts. Don't try and like get to the point without actually following that intuitional gut feeling. Do not rush decisions. If something's not right, lean into that feeling of why. Why is it not right? Which leads us to our year 5. Our year 5 is about travel, change, and discovery. This is such an exciting year. Like, this it's going to be not only dramatic, but so interesting. It's so exciting. And this year is going to feel like it flies by for you. If you are going into year 5, this is your year of adventure. So lean into that travel. This is a hard year for people who don't like or aren't used to change, but it's actually a really great year for change. It's a year of exploration, and it's a year that's huge in socializing. So again, lean into that. This is about expansion, both physically and mentally, and entering unfamiliar territories, both physically, emotionally, mentally. Like, lean into this adventure of this year. This is so important. If you feel restricted in any area of your life this year, like if you're right now feeling a little bit restricted in some sort of area, there will be disruption. So it might feel hard at the time, and it might be a bit of a whack in the face, like, oh my God, what is happening? But it's going to be for good reasons. Listen to your heart. Buy that ticket and say yes, and just take a leap that you know you should be. So the do's of this year is embrace change. This, as I said, this is a year of change, but lean into that instead of trying to run from it. When you run from it is when that change gets scary. Take calculated risk. You don't have to chuck like random, nothing, whatever risk. You can actually do some calculation behind it and make sure you know what you're doing, but make sure you take those risks. And explore new opportunities that come your way. They're coming your way for a reason. Even if they don't work out, it could have a reason further down the line that you don't know until later on. Don't resist change. Like I said, if you resist change, it's going to slap you in the face and be much harder. It's going to kind of drag you instead of it being enjoyable. Don't cling to routine. This is not a year of routine. This is not a year of routine. This is a year of just wild adventures. I remember when I lived in London, and did I have my fifth year in London? I think I did. But it was, I think I did. So this, like, when I lived in London, I remember 1 month feeling like a year. And I remember like catching up with friends after like a month, and it felt like I was telling them a lifetime story. This is what your year is going to feel like. Like, so much happens in 1 month if you lean into that energy. And don't make impulsive decisions. As I said, take those calculated risks. Don't make those impulsive decisions. Still take those risks, but don't just do it just because. Do it because your gut is telling you to. And also, don't ignore your health. This is a year that's going to be crazy, and in these kind of years, health takes a back seat. But don't ignore it. Listen to your body and listen to what your body is telling you. Now, moving into a year 6. A year 6 is all about responsibility. Your year 5 was so huge that you need some balance after last year's excitement. This is your time to restore the body, the mind, and the spirit. Home and family will be very important this year. So lean on them and lean into that support system. This will be energy of space and like embracing that space. Focus on your emotions this year. Spend more time with loved ones and follow what you think you should do, what your intuition is telling you. This is for a lot of people a time of like engagement, marriage, starting a family, or settling down. So in that, what you should do is focus on family, building community or a partner, and be responsible this year. What not to do, don't neglect your loved ones because they're going to be so important for you this year. And don't avoid conflict because it's going to build and it's going to be harder later on down the line. And that moves into our year 7. So if you're in a year 7, you are in a year of reflection. This is a year of victory, but a very contemplative one. So this is a time to journey inside of yourself. So year 7 was my year last year, and it was very I had to work through a lot of emotions. And at the same time, I built a business and I built a community and I had crazy, wild, exciting things happen, but it was all came from a spiritual side within. Because this year you have to focus on that within, the hidden truths of life. Your intuition is going to be magnified this year. It is yelling at you. It's wanting you to listen. This year is not the best for beginning relationships, in terms of romantic relationships, and it may cause breakups if you're in difficult relationships. It doesn't mean it's not possible to have a relationship this year, but it might just be that little bit harder to get into it because you're kind of getting called for your purpose this year. This is a year of getting reacquainted with who you are and following your purpose. So your mind can kind of be drawn and your spirit's kind of drawn more towards finding that you can sometimes put relationships on the back burner. This year is really important because your 8th year is a huge year. It is, I will go into it in a minute, but you kind of need that year before to start putting the foundations down and building. And again, I can relate to this so much because creating Be Social, even before I did my research on this, I knew that this year was going to be huge. 2026 was going to be huge, but I had to use 2025 to create these amazing things and follow my purpose in order to build it to a point that it could have this huge year. So this year is preparing you for such an important year of your cycle. So make sure you lean into that energy. Make sure you start creating the things you want to create and following your purpose. So do spend time alone and meditate. Meditation is so key to lean into this year because it's going to help you find your purpose. Trust your intuition. It is so loud this year. Listen to it. It's telling you, it's giving you instruction. And do deepen your spiritual practice. It's a great year to just find that connection to the higher self. Don't force social interaction. If you're not feeling a conversation, don't try and make it happen. And don't get distracted. As I said, this is a very important year for you. So don't get distracted and get pulled off into somebody else's drama when you have this important thing to build up yourself. And that leads us to a very important year, year 8. My fellow year 8s, it's going to be a big year for us. So after all the hard work of the previous 7 years, it's showing. And that's not to say that in any of those 7 years, none of this is going to happen, that you're not going to manifest anything, because that's a long time to wait, isn't it? But no, this is the year where, particularly all the work that you put in your year 7, it's going to show even stronger than it was showing before. This is a year of high vibration, of everything falling into place. This is a year where you need to share your light and own your power. You're just magnified, everything is coming to you. It is the time to act and act big. If you do not lean into this energy, you are missing such an important and core year. And so follow your passions and follow those inner strings, those invisible strings. Basically, that episode that I spoke about invisible strings, this is you're nearing the end of that invisible strings. So pay attention. I cannot express enough how big this year is for you. Own your leadership and know that you could be challenged quite a bit this year, but it's because the universe and the timing, more is expected of you and required of you this year for you to reach your potential. So you're going to be challenged more, but lean into those challenges and embrace those challenges. This is a great year for finances. So reap those rewards and get ready, because this is going to be a big one for you. So do focus on your finances, your career, and your personal power, because as I said, big year for it. And do take the leadership roles that are offered to you. Don't be greedy just because you are being open to much more. If you lean into greed instead of generosity, you are blocking it from coming into you. So lean into generosity instead of greed. Don't avoid responsibility. Like I said, this is a year that you have to lean into it. If you run away from it, then you're going to miss this opportunity. And on that, don't ignore the opportunities that are coming to you, because they're coming to you this year for a reason. And that leads into our final year, year 9. And any of our year 9s this year, you are at a year of completion. You're entering your final year of your cycle. So take your lessons from the last 8 years and use them to pass on as wisdom. This is a year where you're going to teach others and guide them, because you were the most recent to been through the 9-year cycle. Like, you're in the final year of your cycle, so you have the most knowledge around them. So make sure you don't hold on to the past 9 years, don't hold on to the past 8 years, and let go what no longer serves you. Finish up any loose ends and prepare for new beginnings for next year, because this is a time of reflection, of using this year to reflect, to forgive and forget, to release things that no longer serve you, and to get ready for the start of a new cycle. So do finish old projects, anything that you've been meaning to do that keeps just making it to the back burner. Start leaning on that and start finishing those up. Do focus on generosity. Share that generosity with other people, and you will manifest those and finish up those final things. And do prepare for a new cycle, because there's a new exciting things coming for you. Don't avoid the emotional work. Don't avoid those emotions that are coming up, because this is the closing of a chapter. If you work through those emotions, you can finally let them go. Don't cling to the past. The past is the past for a reason. If it was meant to be in your life, it will come into your life. And if it's not here, it's not meant for your life right now. And don't resist the change. Change is coming. Change is inevitable, and embrace it and lean into it. So that does bring us to the end of the 9-year cycle. And I really hope that you've been able to lean on it and kind of learn a little bit, not only just about this year, but also about your previous year, or even maybe partners, friends' years, just to get a better understanding of what's coming and what just happened in 2025. So with that, use these years as guidance, not as an excuse to avoid or not do things. Just because you're in your year 6, say, doesn't mean you can't travel or socialize. It just means there's a different focus of the year. But use this knowledge to help you strive into the right energy to create the year of your dreams. Remember, we're in 2026, which is a year of 1, year of 10, which equals year 1. So it's a year of new beginnings. So no matter what year you're in, you are in a year of new beginnings. And so lean into that. Make this year your year. And on that, if this episode resonated with you today, if you want to learn more, if you want to look into some different topics, then subscribe if it's through YouTube, and follow if it is through Spotify. And anyone not following Be Social, I will be dropping news in the next podcast, which is actually going to be about the news. If you want a sneak peek, then head over to @besocial.ado. I have announced that it is in my pinned post. But we are going to end on a cliche as per normal. And our cliche today is: your year, your destiny.